So does somebody want to give me an example of something that they heard in the story?
That was uncomfortable.
Well, anything in the story that you think is an element of the story. Yes.
I think the best element in the story that they described was imagery. They did a really good job with that.
Okay.
I could picture, even though it was gruesome, I could picture, what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And which I think is good writing. And but the thing that I heard the most was the lack of her not going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Her refusing to see the doctor for whatever reasons. Maybe she was arrogant because she didn't receive good education because of segregation. So she never received. So she was never taught the kind of things we're taught. We're taught that if you're sick, you should go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Since they didn't have the same kind of resources we did growing up, they might have been more arrogant towards medicine and stuff like that.
Okay. So maybe it's just lack of knowledge, something like that. Joss?
Well, we didn't, one of the things that we put that was
Great.
pretty important is that Henrietta and her family lived during the Jim Crow law, and they're African American. So and it discreetly says that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It only briefly, once they go to the Hopkins hospital, it briefly mentions this was the time during Jim Crow law where people were segregated, but I guess if you didn't put that out, I would not have assumed that Henrietta Lacks was, I guess, African-American.
Right, we're reading the story. We don't know the character, and we're just given information. So we can make a good assumption, that even if they didn't say directly that she was African American, if they refer to the fact that there's a colored section, a segregated section, that, this was the time of Jim Crow. Why might that be something important to discuss? Why might that be something that the author chose to add to this particular story? Even though we haven't read the whole story, we've only read 4 pages. Aviel?
Well, it adds on to the setting and what the character's going through. So, if she's colored, then she doesn't get the same treatment that she was if it was this time period.
Right. Okay. So it's kind of adding to the setting of it. It's adding to our experience that we're experiencing kind of through her eyes or through the author's eyes as she's seeing the story. Jaws and then Alex.
Well, sort of what I'm guessing, one of the big things is, if we ever do read on, I'm guessing that, it's kind of controversial, because, it seems like the author's making it sound like, doctors have never seen what she has before.
Okay.
So, I think it would be kind of in that time, since colored people weren't given the same treatment, she'd have been given the same treatment, if not more, than a white person.
Okay.
Since she has this thing that no doctor's ever seen, and that could have been kind of controversial for lack of a better term.
Okay. Alex?
2 things. My first one is I think if she was born white, living in sort of a more high class situation instead of a big family, like they said, in a sort of a poor African American neighborhood, I'm assuming it's down south somewhere.
Yep.
If she was maybe from a better upcoming, I think she would have gone to the doctor more often, because it said she missed an appointment for that one thing that's really common with African Americans. It's sickle cell. That's really common with African Americans.
Yep.
And it says that she refused to go to that. I think if she would have went to more appointments, they would have saw that this thing was growing inside of her, and would have prevented it if they knew how to at the time. Or there's a chance that it just grew very fast between the times. But I think if she was born not skin color in a different upraising, this wouldn't have happened to her.
Okay. Any other crucial elements of the story that you think we should add to our current list? Anything else that stood out to you? We've got, yes.